Were you taking Paxil during your pregnancy? If you were prescribed Paxil during your pregnancy and your child was born with a heart defect or pulmonary hypertension, you may have a claim. The FDA has strengthened its warning on Paxil based on a study that found increased risk of fetuses developing heart defects. If you took Paxil before 2008 while you were pregnant and your child suffered from a heart defect or pulmonary hypertension, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
The cholesterol-lowering medication Lipitor may increase the risk of diabetes in women. The FDA recently added this increased risk of diabetes to the warning on Lipitor. Our law firm is helping women taking Lipitor who have been diagnosed with diabetes. Please call 1-800-BAD-DRUG to discuss your rights with an attorney. As reported by Reuters, studies show Lipitor may cause an increased risk of diabetes in women. Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Non-attorney spokesperson. The blood thinner Pradaxa may cause serious internal bleeding and heart attacks. The FDA is evaluating reports of serious bleeding events in patients taking Pradaxa. The manufacturer has linked hundreds of deaths to Pradaxa since 2010. If you or a loved one took Pradaxa and suffered from gastrointestinal bleeding, cerebral hemorrhaging, a heart attack, or death, you may be eligible to receive compensation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG to discuss your rights with an attorney. Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Surgery using transvaginal mesh may cause severe complications. Problems include mesh erosion or disintegration, severe pain, additional surgery. Over 30,000 serious complications have been reported. So far, there have been 2 jury verdicts totaling more than $15 million for the injured victims. You may be entitled to compensation if you had complications after surgery using transvaginal mesh. Deadlines to file claims are approaching. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. Non-attorney spokesperson.
Dupuis Orthopedics issued a worldwide recall of its ASR total hip replacement. The recalled Dupuis hip has an estimated 12% failure rate. The recalled Dupuis orthopedic hips were sold between 2005 and 2010. If you have one of these recalled devices, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG to discuss your rights. You may be entitled to compensation for your injuries and medical expenses. Call now for a free confidential consultation. There are deadlines to file your claim. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
Attention parents of boys who took Risperdal. Risperdal, a medication for the treatment of ADHD, autism, and bipolar disorder, has been linked to gynecomastia, a medical condition in which boys develop female breasts. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG today if your son has taken Risperdal and been diagnosed with gynecomastia or has grown female breasts. Your family may be entitled to significant compensation. Several claims have already been settled. For a free confidential consultation, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. Non-attorney spokesperson. Non-lawyer spokesperson. This is a medical alert. If you or a loved one has a Stryker Rejuvenate metal-on-metal hip, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. You may be entitled to compensation. Recently, the manufacturer of Stryker Rejuvenate metal-on-metal hip implants has announced a settlement for some individuals who had undergone a revision surgery before November 3rd, 2014. If you have a Stryker Rejuvenate or ABG hip, a DePuy ASR, or any other metal-on-metal hip implant, you may have a claim to money damages. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. A recent article in the USA Today shows the diabetes medications Byetta and Januvia may be linked to pancreatic cancer. Our law firm is currently investigating claims for those who took Byetta, Januvia, Janumet, or Victoza and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. If you or a loved one took Byetta, Januvia, Janumet, or Victoza and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. Non-attorney spokesperson. If you or a loved one has suffered from a femur or thigh fracture, Fosamax, a commonly prescribed osteoporosis medication, could be to blame. Fosamax is used in the treatment of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. Femur fractures do not usually occur without trauma. If you suffered a femur or thigh fracture and were on Fosamax, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. You may be entitled to compensation. It is urgent for you to act immediately to protect your legal rights. If you took Fosamax and suffered from a femur or thigh fracture side effects, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
Attention denture cream users. Doctors have recently established a link between certain denture adhesives and nerve damage. In large amounts, these denture creams may cause serious conditions known as neuropathies, which involve nerve and neurological damage in victims. Symptoms include unusual loss of balance, extensive tingling or numbness in the extremities, and arm or leg weakness. If you or someone you know used a denture adhesive and was diagnosed with neuropathy, call 800-589-7153. Attention, cryo or cold therapy devices may cause severe permanent skin and nerve damage in some patients. Cold therapy devices are typically prescribed after surgical procedures to help reduce pain and swelling. However, some who have used these devices have suffered painful freezing injuries to the ankles, shoulders, knees, and other areas. If you or someone you love has suffered from nerve or skin damage after using a cryo or cold therapy device, call 800-589-7153. Attention type 2 diabetes patients. Are you one of millions currently taking the diabetes drug Avandia? Have you or a loved one suffered heart problems such as congestive heart failure? The FDA warns Avandia users of the potentially increased risk of heart complications while taking the drug. Never stop taking any medication without consulting your doctor. But if you've suffered a heart attack or if a loved one has died after taking Avandia, call our lawyers at 800-589-1956 for a free evaluation of your claim. Defective pain patch recall. Some painkiller patches containing the highly potent drug fentanyl have been recalled from the market. These patches may leak and expose users to a potentially fatal dose of fentanyl, which is 80 times stronger than morphine. The FDA warns that overexposure to the drug can result in dangerous side effects and even death. If you were hospitalized or someone you love has died after using a painkiller patch, call our lawyers at 800-357-1619. Attention type 2 diabetes patients. Are you one of millions currently taking the diabetes drug Avandia? Have you or a loved one suffered heart problems such as congestive heart failure? The FDA warns Avandia users of the potentially increased risk of heart complications while taking the drug. Never stop taking any medication without consulting your doctor. But if you've suffered a heart attack or if a loved one has died after taking Avandia, call our lawyers at 800-589-7153 for a free evaluation of your claim.
Attention. Millions of painkiller patches containing the highly potent drug fentanyl have been recalled from the market. Symptoms of a fentanyl overdose include respiratory distress, shallow breathing, fatigue, sleepiness, confusion, dizziness, or fainting. If you were hospitalized or someone you know has died after using a painkiller patch, call our lawyers now for a free consultation. Call 800-278-5985. That's 800-278-5985.
Non-lawyer paid spokesman. Attention diabetes patients. Are you currently taking the diabetes drug Avandia? Have you or a loved one suffered heart problems such as a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure? If so, call 800-299-0044. The FDA warns there's an increased risk of heart complications while taking Avandia. If you've suffered a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure after taking Avandia, call 800-299-0044.
Attention women using the popular birth control products Yaz, Yasmin, Biaz, Ocella, or NuvaRing. If you took any of these birth control products and suffered blood clots, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, stroke, or your loved one died after using Yaz, Yasmin, Biaz, Ocella, or NuvaRing, you may be entitled to money damages. Deadlines to file a claim are approaching. This may be your last chance to file a claim. Call 1-800-222-6821 for a free consultation. Call 1-800-222-6821 right now.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention women using the Mirena IUD contraceptive. Did your IUD shift or migrate after being implanted? According to the FDA, the Mirena IUD may puncture the uterus, causing organ damage, bleeding, and fertility loss. If complications with your Mirena IUD required surgery, the manufacturer may be liable for your medical bills, pain and suffering, and more. Call our lawyers at 800-589-7153 for a free confidential claim review.
Attention! If you took the diabetes drugs Invokana or Invokamet and were hospitalized for serious side effects, call Ferrer, Poirot, and Wansbrough.
Call our lawyers right now. You may be entitled to significant compensation.
Never stop taking medication without asking your doctor. But if you or a loved one took Invokana or Invokamet and suffered ketoacidosis, amputations, coma, or kidney failure, call 1-800-685-8700 right now.
Attention men who underwent testosterone therapy. A recent study links testosterone treatments to a 30% increased risk of heart attack, stroke, or death in men. If you or someone you love suffered a heart attack, stroke, or other clotting injury after testosterone therapy, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call our lawyers at 1-800-REAL-LAW for a free evaluation of your claim. That's 1-800-732-5529. Attention, if you took the blood-thinning drugs Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call 1-800-734-4900 right now. You may be entitled to significant compensation.
Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call 1-800-734-4900. 1-800-734-4900.
Attention, farmers, landowners, and distributors in the corn producing industry. The ban on importing genetically altered corn by foreign trade partners has resulted in serious economic damage to the U.S. corn market. You may have suffered economic losses due to the drop in corn prices. Call us today to see if you have a claim. Legal action is already underway. Call 800-816-8500 for a free consultation. Our lawyers are standing by to help you right now. Attention home healthcare workers. If you are employed by a home healthcare company or agency and worked more than 40 hours in a week in 2015 or 2016 without overtime pay, don't stand for it.
Call 1-800-734-4900. You may be entitled to unpaid overtime and damages. If you've worked for a home healthcare company or agency and were denied overtime pay, call now for a free and confidential evaluation. 1-800-734-4900.
Message from the law offices of James Sokolove on mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a rare, malignant type of cancer in the lungs, usually associated with exposure to asbestos. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the law offices of James Sokolove now.
Call 800-800-9919. That's 800-800-9919.
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer, one of many linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, shipyards, or in the heating, construction, and automotive industries may have put you at risk. Secondhand exposure to people close to you may have also resulted in mesothelioma. Please don't wait. Call 1-800-454-0873. That's 1-800-454-0873. I am a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
Attention women. If you or a loved one took Lipitor and developed type 2 diabetes, you may be entitled to compensation. Research has associated the use of Lipitor with the development of diabetes in some women. Again, if you or a loved one took Lipitor and developed type 2 diabetes,
call 1-800-803-5122 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-803-5122. 1-800-803-5122. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Were you or a loved one diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, we urge you to call now. The cancers listed on your screen may be linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, factories, shipyards, or while working in the Navy, or as a plumber, electrician, plasterer, maintenance worker, or janitor may have put you at risk. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with lung cancer,
call 1-800-891-6666 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-891-6666. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
The U.S. population remains at risk. A recent joint report issued by the CDC and the National Cancer Institute announced 3,200 cases of mesothelioma are diagnosed every year. That's basically 8 new mesothelioma victims every day due to asbestos exposure decades ago. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. You may be entitled to a portion of $30 billion in trust money set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You could receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Exposure to asbestos decades ago is still causing fatalities. Thousands of hardworking men and women continue to be diagnosed with the deadly cancer mesothelioma. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed, call now to see if you're eligible for a portion of $30 billion in trust money set aside to pay asbestos victims. State laws limit the time to file an asbestos claim, and if time runs out, you'll never be able to file a claim.
Call 1-800-561-5926 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-561-5926.
Attention! Long-term use of denture cream containing zinc has been linked to neurological damage. If you use the denture cream Fixodent or Polygrip and you suffer from neuropathy, paralysis, muscle weakness, balance problems, or difficulty walking, you may be entitled to compensation. If you or someone you know has suffered these types of side effects after using Fixodent or Polygrip denture cream for an extended period of time, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.